Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are doing part 3 of the back to school series, and we're going to be focusing on 5 things that I wish I knew as a uni student and that I wish somebody had told me before I came to uni. So I know that there are a lot of people who are starting their first year this week or next week, and I wanted this video to be that reminder that everything is going to be okay, that reassurance that I wish I had when I went into uni, that you will get through what you are feeling, you will overcome the challenges that you are having in your life, and you will grow from the experiences that you make. And it can be scary and it can be terrifying, but you will grow and change from it. And it's the stepping outside of the comfort zone and putting yourself in situations that you wouldn't really usually put yourself in, which helps you to become the person that you want to become. So I hope this video is able to help you to become the higher version of yourself that you want to be, that person that you want to be when you go to university, or who you want to shift into. The first thing that I wish that I knew is that you need to learn to enjoy your own company. And this can be said for students that do live on campus and even students that don't live on campus, because I had a friend who didn't live on campus at uni and was actually commuting to university, and she would always tell me that she didn't feel like she could join in on any of the hangouts that people would have on the campus. So there are many different reasons why you may feel lonely, whether it's moving away from home and being away from your family and not being where you usually are, or in your own room or in your own place, and just being taken away. I mean, you create this whole life from all of these years of schooling and going to sixth form, and then suddenly you're going all this way to a university in a different place where there are people that you don't know, you're living with people that you don't know. That's if you've obviously gone to a university in a different location and you're at halls. That whether you're at home and you aren't put in that situation where you have to meet other people and are meeting people as much as others that you know of, or you've left home and you are in that situation where you need to meet new people, you will find that you will be spending a lot of your time by yourself. And something that I wish I knew before I went to university is that you really need to be able to enjoy your own company, and not just be okay with being alone, because there are a lot of people that confuse being okay with being alone and feeling okay with being alone and just getting on with it, rather than enjoying being alone. If when you spend time by yourself you're constantly thinking about how lonely that you're feeling, or how boring it is, or how you don't know what to do, or how you wish that you could be with ABC, or you never really feel like you're getting anything from it, you never really feel like you're enjoying yourself, you never really feel content, that means that you don't like your own company. And the main reason to why that will be is because you're not giving anything into the relationship that you have with yourself. And before going to uni, I think that it's really important to work on that relationship that you have with yourself. But if you're watching this and you're already at uni, or you've been at uni for a year or two, because I'm still working on this myself, I still struggle with being alone. However, I'm getting more used to it and getting more used to just spending time with myself and enjoying my own company. So it doesn't matter whether you're going to uni, already at uni, or will be going in a year's time. It's really important that you work on spending time with yourself and just enjoying your time with yourself, and not just getting on with it or saying that you enjoy it but then secretly hating it when it comes round to that. So there are many different ways and many different reasons as to why you don't have a good relationship with yourself, and as to how you can have a good relationship with yourself. I want you to think of it like this. If you have someone in your life who you really want to be friends with, or you have a really strong friendship in your life, what is it that you think that you need to do? Because is it ignoring them? Is it constantly telling them you don't want to hang out, or saying that you will want to hang out with them and then not showing up? Is it being disrespectful to them? No, you're not going to make a friend like that, and I'm pretty sure that you didn't make the strong friendships that you have in your life like that. So in order to be able to make those strong friendships, and in order to be able to have those strong friendships in your life, you have to be respectful to that person. You need to show up, you need to give them everything that you can, and be kind to them, and be nice to them, and help them, and let them help you. And that is the same thing with the relationship with yourself. You need to respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't show up for yourself, let's say you say that you're going to go to the gym tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and you don't. How can you expect yourself to have that healthy relationship with yourself if you're not even showing up, if you're not even being respectful to yourself, if you're constantly dragging yourself down, or saying mean things about yourself, or not even knowing who you are as a person. When you have a friend, you want to know who they are as a person. You want to know what kind of things do they like, what kind of things do they not like, what kind of things make them happy, so that you know what to then do. You need to know those things about yourself. You need to know what makes you happy. What kind of things do you love doing? What calms you? Is it reading a book or watching a series that you like? Or is it lighting a candle or drawing? What is it that calms your soul? You need to learn those things about yourself, just as you would spend the time to learn those things about a friend, because that is how you create that friendship with yourself. And that friendship with yourself will be the foundation to all the friendships and all the relationships that you have in your life. So something that I think is really helpful when it comes to creating that friendship with yourself is doing what you would do with your friends. So like a hangout, for example, or a solo date. Let's say you go on dates with your partner, you can go on dates with yourself, or just go on hangouts with yourself. Just call it wherever you want to call it. You can call it a solo date, you can call it a hangout with yourself. And in that time in which you're going out with yourself, do things that you love doing with other people. So for example, if you love going shopping, or if you love going to a coffee shop, or if you love going to the cinema, and you love being able to go to the theatre or play games with your friends, try and see if you can find a way to love doing that by yourself. So for example, shopping. What I think is really nice about going shopping with yourself is that you never have to worry about searching around the shop too long or taking too much time. And that can be said for any activity that you do. You are on your own time, and you don't have to worry about doing something that you are not sure whether the other person is going to like it or not, because it's just you and you're by yourself. And whether this is playing games, if you enjoy playing games with your friends, try playing games by yourself. I know it might seem boring, but you can create that whole excitement about it and have that be what you do to spend time with yourself. And I feel like another thing that I really love to do is just romanticize the parts of life that I don't really enjoy as much. So for example, if it's getting up in the morning, try and romanticize that experience and create a routine that you know will make you excited and happy. And when you are spending time alone, don't think of it as spending time alone with nothing, because you aren't ever alone. As long as you have yourself, you aren't alone. And whenever I'm going through something hard, or I am by myself, I think of myself as being another person. And I know that might seem complicated to put into action, but just as you would be in a room with somebody else, when you are alone, it's almost as if you are in that room with yourself, and you just have to imagine that you as a person is in front of you and spend that time with that person. And I know it might sound a bit crazy, like what the heck is she talking about, but when you are alone, you'll understand what I mean, because you aren't ever alone. You can't ever be alone as long as you have yourself. You know, when you're thinking to yourself, when you have all these thoughts in your mind, that's you speaking to yourself. When you speak out loud, that's you speaking to yourself. And I think it's being able to just love that about ourselves, and actually just love spending that time with ourselves and seeing ourselves as a friend. You know, when you're going through something, what would you want your friend to tell you? Whatever it is, that's what you need to tell yourself. Show up for yourself, be kind to yourself, allow yourself to have those hard days. On those hard days, motivate yourself to try and do what you know you need to do, because that's what you would do for a friend. If you start treating yourself like you are a friend when you're at uni, or when you come back from uni, or wherever it is, you won't feel so alone and isolated, because you will have something that you had back at home, yourself. And when you know that you have yourself when you move to uni, or if you're going into halls, it doesn't feel as scary, because you know that you will always have yourself. You'll always be with yourself, no matter where you are in the world. And I think that there's beauty in that, and it's sad that so many people, including myself, because it's still something that I'm trying to get used to, that we hate our own company and we hate spending time with ourselves, when there's so much beauty in spending time with yourself. You just need to open your eyes to it. So the second thing that I wish I knew as a uni student is that you don't need to fit into the social stereotypes of a university student. So when I say this, I mean things like, for example, going out clubbing during Freshers Week. There's a lot of people that do like clubbing, and so this is more for people that don't really like going clubbing out as much, or feel the pressure to go out clubbing, or feel like they can't be themselves. This section is for those people, because I know what it's like to worry about going to university and not having anybody who doesn't drink, or not being able to find my people who don't judge me for not drinking. And you shouldn't feel like you can't be yourself. You shouldn't have that mindset of going to uni and knowing you're going to just have to drink just so that you can make friends, because trust me, there are so many people that don't drink. There are so many people who I'm friends with who do drink and don't mind that I don't drink. If your friends don't respect your boundaries, they aren't your friends. If they respect your boundaries, respect the fact that you don't like drinking, those are your friends, because whatever makes you comfortable is at the end of the day what makes you comfortable, not them. And so they need to respect that. And so going to university, you need to try your hardest to allow yourself to be who you want to be, not who you know the stereotype of a university student is. And that obviously isn't just going out clubbing and drinking. There is a lot more to that. There's obviously the educational side, and there's the studying. There could be times where you're telling yourself you're not studying enough, or that you're overworking yourself and you don't realize that you're overworking yourself, and you're not allowing yourself to have a little bit of fun. But I just think that it's so important to just allow yourself to be the student that you want to be. So if this means not going clubbing and having nights in and being worried that people are going to think you're boring, it just means that if there are people that think you're boring, those people aren't for you. And if there are people that don't think that you're boring and who actually like the fact that you have different kinds of interests and don't mind that you have different kind of interests and would rather just do something else with you, then those are the people that you want to be around. And there's nothing wrong with actually going out and just not drinking. There have been many times where I've just not felt like drinking, whether this will be because I have a headache or I'm just not in the mood, and so I will just get a Coke or a lemonade or something like that. And it doesn't take away from the fact that you aren't drinking. You don't have to drink to have fun. I feel like there's this massive idea that you need to drink to have fun with people or to loosen up a bit so that you can get to know other people. There will always be people there that aren't drinking, and even if there are people there that are drinking, I feel like that vibe kind of seeps throughout everyone, even the people that aren't drinking, because I find that even when I haven't been drinking, I sort of like act drunk because I'm around people who are drunk. It's like one of those weird like brain things. But I feel like being who you are and who you want to be as a person is really important, because you shouldn't feel forced to be someone that you aren't, because if you do that, you are only going to come across people that aren't meant for you, or you're going to come across these friends that at the end of the day aren't really going to be proper friends to you, because they're not going to understand you the way that you want them to, because you're pretending to be someone that you aren't. And this links to my people pleasing video that I did, where I was talking about how if you pretend to be someone you aren't, you're going to attract a crowd of people that you don't want to attract. And this is the same thing at university. You don't want to attract different kinds of people that don't align with your path. The person, that student that you want to be, that has the friends that you want to have, what kind of person are they? What kind of student are they? How do they handle their work? How do they handle their studying? How do they handle their free time? Do they let themselves have time to do the things that they like, or do they overwork themselves? Because we don't want to overwork ourselves, we don't want to burn out. All you need to do is trust yourself and trust that you will find those people that are right for you, because you will. And if you are true to yourself, you're only going to make your life easier, because down the line, if you are pretending to be someone that you aren't, you're eventually going to have to come clean, because it's just going to naturally happen. You need to be true to yourself, and even if that means being alone for a certain period of time, then you can work on yourself and work on your time with yourself before you get those people in your life. The third thing that I wish I knew before leaving for uni is that it is okay to feel homesick, and it is okay to not feel homesick. And the reason why I say to not feel homesick is because I am aware of the fact that not everybody who leaves to go to uni feels homesick. Not everybody who is at uni feels homesick. They're fine, they're actually doing great, they're feeling independent, they have a rush of exhilaration because they have this new door opening up to them, or maybe they just had a hard time at home and now they're finally able to have peace from that. And I want this section of the video to be that reminder that it's okay to feel either way. You're not abnormal for feeling homesick, you're not abnormal for not feeling homesick. In my case, I did feel really homesick, but I also did have those moments where I was like, I do kind of like this independency, and I love being able to just go out whenever I want to go out, or do the things that I want to do at whatever time, or just go wherever I want to go, or make whatever meals I want to make. But I definitely struggled for a really long time. Maybe like it took me 1 or 2 months before I actually felt like I could call the place that I'm at home. And it took me a very long time to not miss my family members the way I did. And obviously I always missed them because I wasn't used to being away from them. But it did give me a chance to grow into being my own person, and it forced me to spend more time by myself and to just love my time with myself more. But I find it can be really difficult, especially when you have close friendships or you're moving away from a friend, or your family members, that you are leaving that comfort zone. I think that's what we have to do to become the person that we want to be in order to grow. You just need to keep pushing yourself to go that little bit further, and you have to just keep reminding yourself that it's normal. It's normal to feel homesick, and it's also normal to not feel homesick. There will always be people who are in the same boat as you and who are feeling the same way that you are feeling. But if you are feeling homesick, then something that I do suggest is making your room, your uni room, that is if you are at halls, feel like your room at home. If you are putting posters up, or maybe pictures of your friends or your family members or people that mean a lot to you, just try and make your room feel as if your room at home, because then it will be like you never left. And if you have that same environment, and when you are in your room you see pictures of your friends and family, it will just bring that warmth to you, and you will feel them close to your heart even if they aren't there. Another thing that I found really helpful is just staying in touch with the people that I was missing in my life. And I know this seems pretty obvious, like yeah, of course I'm going to stay in touch with my family, but trust me, uni life gets really complicated, and before you know it, it's been a whole month and you haven't really been talking properly to that person that you would usually speak to all the time, or maybe a few weeks, or whatever it is. Just try and make sure that you set dedicated periods of time where you know that you can spend time with your family members, whether this be on call or just watching a film virtually, and just making sure and checking in with them, making sure that they're okay. But you can still bond with someone through distance and from being far away from each other. It just takes a lot more commitment. But I think when a relationship or a friendship grows stronger even through distance, it goes to show that you love each other so much, and there again is beauty in that. So the fourth thing that I wish I knew before going to university is that it is challenging, and it's okay to feel that it's challenging. Like, it's okay to just allow yourself to take on that challenge and to just let it seep in, and not bash yourself for not understanding what the heck is going on, because university is not even on the same level as GCSE and A-level. And the only reason why I say that is because the minute you go, they tell you forget everything, and you're just thinking to yourself, what was the point? Like, what was the point? And obviously I'm only saying that from my degree and from what my friends have obviously heard themselves, but it is different. It's a completely different world, and you do get told that, but you never really get told that, because when you go to university, there is a certain aspect of independency that you aren't expected to have in GCSE and A-level. And obviously this makes sense. The higher level you go, the further you're going to be pushed to be your own person and to be more independent, because eventually you're going to have to be completely independent of everybody and anything. And so university is sort of like that little bit of a taster of what adulthood is like, even though it is obviously nowhere near as hard as actual adulthood. And when I first started, I just kept bashing myself for not knowing what to do. I mean, I would be set these assignments and I would just be so confused, like, what do they expect me to do? What do I do? I'm so terrified, I'm so scared of failing. And I heard that there were a lot of people who would come from A-level and come from getting A stars to getting a lower grade in university, and it would shock them, and it would make them feel like they were never going to be able to be that great student, that perfect student that they've always been. And so they would fall down and they wouldn't feel motivated, and it would stop them from wanting to go to seminars or lectures or just trying hard. And it is normal, at least from my perspective and from what other people have told me. There have been a lot of people I know who have just found it really challenging. And to be honest, my professors did eventually say, like, the reason why they didn't tell us everything off the bat is because they wanted to test us to see how much we knew as it was. And I'm not saying that this could be saying I'm not saying that this could be the same for absolutely every degree, but if you find that you don't know everything that you feel you need to know, just give it time, because at least by the end of the year you'll know a little bit more about what that university wants from you, what your degree expects from you, what your professors expect from you, how the essays are marked, how the assignments are marked, how the exams work. But you need to allow yourself to have that working ground to just get to that point, and don't expect yourself to be at 100% at your end game the minute that you start, because that's just not possible. You need to allow yourself to become a university student. You don't just become a university student the minute you step foot, because I remember when I had my first lecture and I was like crying inside. I was like, oh my god, what the heck, they're speaking so fast I can't even keep up with them. And it took me at least a few weeks to actually get used to the fact that, okay, this is going to be really difficult, this is not even the same thing, and it's a different world. It's like stepping into a new country and you want to get to know that country. You don't suddenly know everything about that country the minute that you step foot into it. Like when you go on holiday, you don't suddenly know everything about how that holiday is going to turn up. You have to allow yourself to get used to that country and to get used to that holiday and to make memories. You need to do the same thing at university. Allow yourself to feel challenged, overcome those challenges, to accept help if you need it, to ask for help if you need it, to help others if others need help. Just allow yourself to grow, because you will grow. The fifth thing that I wish I knew before going to university is that it is okay to be uncertain about your future. And the reason why I say this is because there is such a massive pressure in society to know exactly what you want to do degree-wise when going to university, and to know exactly what you want to do after university, and to know exactly what kind of person you want to be, and exactly where you want to go, and what kind of job you want to have, and what kind of life you want to lead, and what kind of path you want to go down. And it becomes so overwhelming that you just want to get through today. You just want to get through tomorrow. You were trying to get through yesterday, and yet still people are asking you, who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Why are you at university? What do you want to study at university? And you just want to breathe. And I'm here to tell you that you can breathe. That it's okay, that yes, it's hard to choose a degree, and that yes, you may be choosing between 1, 2, 3 different options, or you may not even know what one option to go for. You may not even know if university is for you, and that's okay. When I was submitting my personal statement into going into university, I wasn't certain if I wanted to do psychology or English, and I was just putting it over and over and over and over in my head. Do I do psychology? Do I do English? Do I do psychology? Do I do English? And eventually I went for English and creative writing, which is what my degree is now. And the whole year I was thinking to myself, is this actually right for me? Am I doing what is right for me? And I had all of these doubts, and I was worried, like, what if this isn't right for me? Which, by the way, if you do a degree which you feel isn't right for you, it is always all right to transfer to a different degree. There are so many people that do that, and that doesn't make you a failure as a student. That just means that you dipped your feet in some water and you want to go dip your feet in some other water. You want to learn about yourself more, and if that means that you know you need to change your degree, then there is nothing wrong with that. You just need to allow yourself to grow. It may take you a little bit longer to get to where you want to get to than what it may take for other people, but eventually by the end of the year I realized that I love my degree, and I just needed to give it time and allow myself to just get used to the way that everything worked, and to get used to the seminars, and to get used to the lectures and the assignments and the coursework, and to myself as a student, and to just allow myself to grow into loving the degree. But I don't want you to feel like you have to know who you are, like you have to have all of these years planned ahead of you. Just get through today, get through tomorrow, try your hardest and go with the flow. And if you feel that what you are doing right now maybe isn't right for you, then that's okay. Try and see what is right for you. Whether going to university isn't right for you or not going to university, there will always be a path for you. You just need to look for it. You have to remind yourself that this is your life. It's not your mum's life or your dad's life or your sibling's life or your friend's life or your aunties or your uncles or anybody's life. So you can't listen to what other people are saying. If somebody is pushing you to do something that you don't want to do, or telling you that you have to do university, or telling you off for not wanting to go to university, you need to remember that the only person that's going to be with you right now, that's going to be living the life that you're going to be living, is you. In 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they're not going to be living your life. You're going to be living your life. You're going to be the one that has to wake up in the morning and go to that job. And if you hate that job, how do you think you're going to feel? It's not going to be your mum or your dad or your siblings or your auntie or your uncle that's suffering. It's going to be you that's suffering because you didn't do what you wanted to do. So it's so important that you just allow yourself to grow into that person that you are going to become. Allow yourself to go with the flow and listen to your heart, listen to yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person you will ever have is yourself. So if you're not happy, then it doesn't matter about anyone else. You need to be happy. You need to prioritize your happiness. If you are just doing what you know is going to make everyone else happy, but you're not happy yourself, at the end of the day, you're going to end up failing in your life because you wouldn't put yourself first, because it's your life, it's not their life. I don't want you to look back on your uni experience and wish that you had done something differently, or wish that you had acted as yourself, or wish that you didn't act in a certain way that you acted, or were around the people that weren't really meant for you. These years of your life will go by so quickly, just like GCSEs did and just like A-levels did. You need to be thankful for this opportunity that not many people get to have, and use it to your advantage and become that person that you want to be. But the only way that you can do that is by allowing yourself to become that person, and by doing the things that you know will align with the path that you want to have, not what other people want you to have. So I hope that this video helped you, and that you feel a little bit more comfortable going into university, and that you know a little bit more about the kind of person that you want to be, and that you're not so scared about going to university. And in general, going to university is a scary thing, and you just need to allow yourself to feel that fear and to go with the flow, and to learn more about yourself, and to make those friends, and to learn about what kind of student you want to be. And you will get to that point where you feel comfortable and you make a home in that place that you're at, and you make those friends. But you just need to be going along with the process, going along with the journey, and allowing yourself to get through it, and go through the hard days and go through the easy days, and just with each morning have gratitude for the fact that you are there, and have gratitude for the fact that you get to experience these moments of your life that in 10 years time you're going to wish you can come back and experience again. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I will see you in the next video.